What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my public YouTube channel. And in today's video, we have something that is absolutely significant and very important to discuss. This is something that has everything to do with stepping into your personal power by actually addressing the root cause of what is needing to be looked at and what is needing to be understood so that you can live the life that you truly want to be living. All right, so what I'm going to be speaking about in today's video is going into your own personal hell in order to heal yourself and then step into the version of yourself that you are meant to become, that you are meant to be, to live out your life's purpose. I'm going to be discussing some of the real mechanics and some of the real things that actually unfold when we are actually stepping into this inner hell, and then how we are seeing these things remanifest into our everyday life circumstances and, once again, experiences. This is very important to follow. It's very important to understand, and this is going to offer anyone value that is willing to stay tuned and really dissect this content that it is that I'm going to be breaking down in this today's video. So if you want to understand a little bit more about doing really deep shadow work and allowing yourself to heal these significantly repressed wounds that exist within the nervous system, then this is a video that is absolutely for you. So I highly recommend that you stay tuned, and then I will see you on the other side. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. So how do we heal these really deep-seated wounds that are inside of our system? And what does it actually look like when we are doing this work? What are some of these things that we can actually expect to manifest themselves in our everyday life? And this is literally one of the most sacred processes that a human being can go through once they get to this point where their wounds start manifesting externally back to them to offer itself as a significant reflection to be able to work with, to be able to integrate, and ultimately to be able to heal and then step into that version of you that you know you are meant to be, so that you can live out your purpose and do it with authenticity and do it with power. Okay? So with that being said, we are talking about how this is manifesting. So one of the most sacred processes that you can start to see unfolding once you start honoring your process. So what it means to start honoring your process is it means you're starting to honor your emotions. You are starting to honor different sensations within your body. You're starting to honor your foundation and starting to wean yourself off of things that could be considered unhealthy coping mechanisms. And then what you're doing is you're starting to reintroduce healthier ones. Once you start this process and you give it patience and you give it time, you are going to start noticing really deep components of your personal unconscious, and the things that are repressed there, the things that are buried there are going to start coming up to the surface. Now, originally this can be a little bit off-putting and it can be a little bit scary, but when you understand what's actually taking place, you can start working with this in a healthy way and actually understand what's happening, and it ends up literally becoming one of the most important and valuable things that someone can experience and that someone can go through. This is what it is when I am referring to going into your own personal hell to step into your power. or to step into your authenticity. It is the deep unconscious. It is the wounds that you have repressed within your nervous system that are emotional and sensation based, that are connected to certain memories from past traumas. Okay, so with that being said, when we honor that process, what then starts to happen is we literally start to manifest in our external experience, in our reality, through circumstances, through events, through different relationships. We then start to manifest literally opportunities to completely revisit that past trauma. So whatever types of traumas that you've been through in your past, whatever type of experience it is, maybe it's complex trauma, maybe it's shock trauma, whatever the case is, we all have our own unique traumas, and we've been through a lot of different ones. Some tend to leave significant imprints on the nervous system that stand out more than others, but regardless, we all have our own unique trauma history. And these things literally sit in our nervous system and they project into our everyday lives. And this is one of the root causes why most of us are not living lives that we really want to be living, or that we know that we could be living. So with that being said, it is these wounds that we need to face. And what we need to do is we need to face these wounds in a healthy way with a grounding of compassion. So what is one of the ways that these wounds from the past, these repressed parts of us, as well as these emotions and sensations and memories, what is one of the ways that these things start to manifest themselves? Well, when you're honoring the process, they literally will start to create circumstances for you to experience that are similar in energetic nature from what you've experienced in your past trauma. So in other words, you might have a certain trauma in the past where you went through a certain type of abuse with a certain type of person that had a certain type of personality. And then as you're honoring your healing process, you may find yourself actually manifesting a person into your life that is similar to the abuser from your past, but is actually not the same and is not abusing you in the same way. And yes, there is a fine line between remanifesting an old cycle and then getting stuck in it, between remanifesting similarities from an old cycle and being able to integrate it and work through it in a healthy way. So what I'm basically saying here is, yes, there is a fine line from remanifesting an abusive person in your life that literally abuses you the same way as what you've experienced in your past. There's a fine line between that and then remanifesting someone that's similar to this person that abused you in the past with other different types of traits or personality patterns, but is actually not abusing you in that same way and is not abusing you in general, but actually has healthy intentions for you. So maybe the person looks similar to this person that once abused you in the past. Maybe they sound similar. Maybe they talk in a similar type of way. You know, all of these different things can literally trigger these past memories within our deep unconscious that are related to the trauma to come forth. But the difference is that this person is actually not abusing us. So this is a safe person. This is a healthy person, yet at the same time, they are still manifesting triggers from our past because we have a past history with someone that looked, sounded, and acted in certain ways similar to that abuser from the past. So what this does is this creates a present moment situation where it feels familiar from the past, but it's actually different in the sense that it's a healthier and a safer circumstance. So it can feel like it's the past, but it's actually not the past. It is the present moment and it is safer, but it's providing opportunity to go through these different emotions and these different sensations that we once experienced from our past, except we're doing it in a safer environment with a safer person, even though they're helping to trigger these things in us. This is one of the most sacred forms of healing deep-rooted trauma within the nervous system, and this is something that so many people really don't acknowledge and so many people do not understand. And the second a lot of times people manifest this, they try to run away from it or they try to get away from it, which is unfortunate because this is so important to actually heal some of these serious root cause wounds that we all experience and that we all have in our own ways. All right, so with that being said, let me kind of explain this a little bit more. So this is the reality for most people. Most people are unconscious of trauma. They're unconscious of the traumas that they've really experienced. Not saying that it's necessarily intentional, but their people just are unaware of how significant trauma really does affect their nervous system and their everyday life. So most people are sort of living unconsciously with a bunch of trauma stored in their nervous system, and that trauma then finds ways to manifest itself in your everyday life experience, in their everyday lives, yet they are unconscious of that, so they don't understand what's happening. They don't understand why it's taking place. So it basically just loops itself and it cycles itself, and they keep going through this pain and suffering of past trauma that is now cycling in the present moment, and they don't understand what's happening, and yet simultaneously they're trying to repress the trauma as well. So they're trying to repress it at an emotional and a sensational level. And that's what keeps these people in a loop. So being in this loop of unconscious trauma oftentimes means we are literally actually manifesting similar types of trauma from our past in the present moment. So the same scenario, if we went through some form of abuse in the past with some, let's say a parent, let's say our father, we went through some significant abuse with our father in the past, well then it is common that if we're not addressing those wounds and we're unconscious of how much of an effect that actually had on us, we are actually now manifesting sort of similar situations and circumstances of that type of abuse that is similar to what we went through with our father in the present moment. And we are sort of unconsciously manifesting that same type of abuse into our lives. So this is something that is absolutely important to understand, and so many people are experiencing this. They are going through literally cycles of trauma from the past that they've already experienced in the deep past, and they're recreating it again to go through it, which you don't have to do, and is unfortunate because that's what creates re-traumatization, where you're just hurting yourself and hurting yourself and hurting yourself. But eventually, at some point, you learn through the pain and suffering, and then you make a decision to, end it. You make a decision to actually embrace it and then let go of that, and then heal those deeper wounds. That's the end goal. That's what eventually takes place. But for some people, they will be in these cycles for their entire life incarnation, whereas other people pick it up a little bit quicker. Okay? It just depends on the person, depends on their trauma history, depends on their soul experience, and all these other factors that matter. Okay, so we have that component. Then we have the person that starts addressing their trauma. They start honoring aspects of the foundation, right? They start understanding the importance of feeling emotions and being with sensations and visiting memories and letting negative thoughts come up and choosing to let these things go. We have this type of person that then starts initiating a deeper process of healing. And through that, once again, you start manifesting traumas from the past that are similar in energetic nature, but different at the same time. So this person then manifests that abuser from the past, let's say that abusive father figure, but it's a different type of person. It's a different type of energy. It is not the same abuse. It is not the abuse in general. It is an opportunity to get triggered from these wounds that are stored in the nervous system that are familiar or that feel similar to what you went through in the past, but it is very different in the present moment, meaning the person is not your father, they're not abusing you, and they are safe and they actually love you. But it can feel triggering because there's a lot of energetic similarities and correspondences that your nervous system remembers from the past. So this is a whole nother form of working with these repressed things in the nervous system. But as I said, even then, there's a lot of people that when they start to experience that, they get overwhelmed with that trauma. They get overwhelmed with those feelings and those emotions and these memories that trigger from the past, and then they try to cop out or they try to escape it again. And then they try to, demonize, or they try to make sense out of what's happening, even though it's quite confusing, because it's like, the person is not the same abuser from the past, and that they actually care about you, but you're feeling like that's what's happening. You're feeling like you're being abused, even though you're not, because it's bringing up the past. And if there's not an understanding of what's taking place and an ability to really let go and surrender to that process and completely dissolve, then oftentimes what happens is people find ways to cop out of that or to escape that. And then they create boundaries with people that literally remind them of the past. And that can manifest in any way. That could be a friend, it could be an intimate partner, it could be a family member, it could be a coworker, it could be a boss, whatever the case it is. So as I'm saying, a lot of people then create these boundaries where it's like, you remind me of someone from the past, even though you may not be. You may not be that same person, but the way that you're making me feel, because I'm getting triggered by what you're triggering in me naturally, not saying you're intentionally trying to do it, but what you're naturally triggering in me, I don't want to be around that. So I'm going to remove myself from you, and then I'm going to try to create an energetic boundary with you. Okay? So when this takes place, this person that is doing this, they may be coming from a good intention of wanting to heal and wanting to integrate and wanting to create safety for themselves by not going through the same abuse from the past, but it actually can get to the point where they're now avoiding and escaping the deeper process for how they're actually going to heal that root cause. And the issue that comes into play here is that when someone's operating in this way, what then happens is now they're in energetic resonance to manifest things that actually remind them of the past and trigger them from past wounds. But if they're not understanding that is what's taking place, and then they start demonizing the person or the things that are triggering them, then they're creating boundaries with what it is that they're also in resonance with. So imagine you're energetically attracting a certain type of person or situation that is meant to help you heal, that is meant to help you feel into triggers and let go completely, but you're creating boundaries with it at the same time. So you're attracting something and then pushing it away, attracting something and pushing it away. And that in itself is a whole nother cycle of avoidance and escapism. And that in itself is painful, because you ask yourself, you're like, why do I keep manifesting this type of person over and over and over and over again? They don't make me feel good. I don't like the energetic triggers that come into play when I'm with this person. I don't like the memories that surface. Once again, there's a fine line between someone who's actually abusing you and someone who's not, but is still triggering wounds from the past. Okay? So it is at that point where you eventually have to let go and you have to realize, wow, I am in resonance with this type of experience. I am in resonance with this type of person, which means there must be a deeper learning. There must be a deeper lesson that is here for me to experience, which then entails that the triggers that I'm going through, I have to be with them. I have to experience them at a sensational and an emotional level. And then I have to choose to let go of the need to avoid this, or the need to escape this, or the need to control this. And I have to understand that this is a safe environment. This is a safe person, even though it might feel scary. And I have to let go and just let myself realize that this is what I've manifested into my own life, so that I can heal at the root cause resonance, so that I'm no longer in resonance to manifest toxic environments or toxic people into my life, and I can really integrate these deeper seated wounds. So this is one of the deepest ways of working with your own personal hell, where literally you manifest that hell, which is the trauma from your past. You manifest a similar energetic nature to that, but it is not the same. And then as you're manifesting that, the goal is to then honor your feelings and your sensations and memories in a healthy way, letting them come through, feeling them, embracing them with acceptance, and then choosing to let go of what no longer needs to be there. So if you have some intense fear, you let that fear come through, you honor it, you be with it, and then you let it go so it can naturally pass through your system. You don't want to just hold it and say, I'm always afraid, I'm always afraid, I'm always afraid. I'm just an afraid person, I'm always afraid. You don't want to label yourself or identify with it or attach to it. You just want to be with it for as long as you need to, as long as it's there, and be willing to let it go when it naturally goes. Okay, so doing this and honoring these things and then nurturing yourself to the best ability that you can with your environment by creating safety cues in your environment, by creating a safe space to exist in, surrounding yourself with other people that make you feel safe, doing little things like going for walks outside, potentially, eating foods that nurture your process and make you feel better about yourself. Like, this is how you really heal these deeper rooted wounds. You are revisiting that past trauma where at a time in your past you didn't know what was happening and you repressed the emotions and you tried to survive by protecting yourself. And then now that you are who you are now in the present moment, those wounds that you repressed are now seeping into your everyday life. And that part of you that you had to create to protect yourself is now no longer valuable in your life experience in the way that it's operating. It's time to start building relationships with these parts and these protector parts, and then choosing to let go of the need to operate in the way that they're trying to get you to operate, so that you can actually heal the root cause of these wounds. And this is exactly what it is that I'm breaking down in this today's video, so that you as the listener can actually understand what this process looks like, because it is a sacred process. And there is not a lot of people that actually get to this point where they are then re-manifesting their wounds from the past in a healthier way, to be able to re-experience it, to be able to re-feel through that, and then choose to let go of these needs to escape it or control it or protect yourself from it. Not a lot of people have even got to that point. Remember what I said, most people are still unconsciously cycling in their traumas, continuously repressing the emotions and the sensations and the memories, which is then manifesting the same type of abuse from their past. So there's a very different reality to that in someone who's honoring their process and then re-manifesting wounds from a lens of being able to heal through it and nurture yourself through that similar experience from the past. So if you are there, honor that process, surrender to that process, be with that process. It is sacred, and you are going to be so thankful that you did this, because this is one of the deepest ways to heal at a nervous system level that is literally going to change your entire life trajectory, because all of this has to do with energetic resonance. And when you're doing this deep-seated healing, that is stuff, that is energy, emotions, energies and motions, sensations that are lodged in your nervous system that need attention, that need acceptance, that need to be processed and then eventually released. And that releasing changes your energetic resonance. And at that nervous system level, that's what attracts the life experiences and the relationships and things that you're desiring at a core level. So healing at this deep level changes your resonance that then allows you to live the life that you truly want to live. This is something so many people are bypassing, then trying to manifest the life they want to live, realizing they're never going to be satisfied because they're approaching it in an inverted way. I'm going to try to get this thing. I'm going to try to make this amount of money. I'm going to try to have this relationship so then I can feel better, so then I can be happy, so then I can be satisfied at my core, when really that's not the answer. It never was. It was the internal process first, addressing trauma, addressing repressed emotions, sensations, memories, being with that, understanding a process that allows you to, nurture these things and heal these things, that then changes your resonance so that you become the person that then resonates with the reality it is that you desire. That is the ultimate key. So with that being said, this is where I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully this was able to offer you value as the listener. I broke down a lot of very significant things here, so definitely take advantage of it. Okay? Hit the thumbs up. If you enjoyed this video, definitely make sure you are slamming that thumbs up button. Drop down into the comment section and let me know how this influenced you. I would love to hear your own perspective, and I would love to hear how you personally are working through your trauma and how you are integrating some of these wounds on your own or with support. I would love to be able to hear your own experience with that. Now, also make sure you're hitting the notification bell and that you're getting notified whenever I post content, because literally I post every other day, so take advantage of that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, because by subscribing, you are further energetically connecting to everything it is that I'm teaching. So definitely make sure you're tapping into that. If there's someone that you know that will gain value from this video, copy and paste the link and then send it to that person. I encourage you to do that. Okay? Now I'm going to take your awareness to literally the most important link within the entire description itself. This is the first link at the top. You cannot miss it. This is my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have an entire host of exclusive content only for the Patreon members. Over 270 exclusive videos. Everything from deep occult education on Kabbalistic initiation, ritualistic practices that I perform on camera and then teach you how to do yourself, education on nervous system regulation, things like what we just talked about in our today's video in regards to healing trauma. All of this stuff is organized very neatly into different collection sections that you can have access to. So if that's something that you feel like you resonate with, definitely consider it. It is the first link in that YouTube video description. Now at tier number 3 and 4 of the Patreon, you are gaining access to something that is extremely unique and exclusive. And this is called the Universe B Vampire Ritual Service. This is a very unique service that is unique to everything it is that I do. It's the only one that I do collectively. And it's an energetic transfer from me to you as the participant to support you through some of the deepest working within your own unconscious, so that eventually you can merge with your shadow, heal these deep repressed wounds within your nervous system, and then step into your authentic self that has purpose and that has power. Okay, so this is an energetic ritual that is designed to support that entire process. And there are over 300 members that are actively taking advantage of this service. So if this is something that you're interested in, definitely consider it. And if you would like to educate yourself a little bit more on how this service operates, I have a playlist in my YouTube section that is mentioning vampires. Just go ahead and take a look into that playlist, and that's going to break down everything it is that you personally need to know. So definitely check that out as well. All right. With that being said, all of that's in the Patreon first link below. Now in the second link below, this is where you can book a one-on-one call with me. If you have any questions, definitely look into that. Or you can jump right into mentorships. I have a 6-week mentorship as well as a 3-month mentorship. This is something that I am extremely passionate about, and it is literally the most intimate way to personally work with me. And what I'm going to be doing with you is we are going to be addressing your personal trauma over the phone, one-on-one. We're going to be developing a very unique foundation for you that allows you to start regulating your nervous system and once again supports that trauma healing. And then once we get that established, if it's something that you're interested in, then we can talk about doing different things like occult initiation with Kabbalah. If that's something that you're interested in, I can also guide you through that process. So right now I am working with literally a bunch of different clients that are all over the world from all different backgrounds. It is something that I'm extremely passionate about. So if it's something that you resonate with and you're resonating with what I'm teaching, definitely consider booking a mentorship with me. Okay? Now, in that same second link, you have an option to book a tarot card reading with Alexia. She's a very gifted tarot card reader and can help you navigate what you're going through now and then what to expect into the near future, while also connecting these things back to the Kabbalistic tree to give you an even deeper perspective. So definitely consider that. It's also in the second link. All right. Third link is a LUCIFERS Foundation course, step-by-step structure to develop a healthy relationship with the energy that is known as Lucifer. So take advantage of it if you're interested. Tons of people have, tons of people continue to, and there's a lot of value there. All right. Fourth link is the YouTube memberships. It is in the YouTube memberships that you are gaining access to having a little badge next to your name. Your name appears as green. You get access to exclusive emojis and things in that nature. And most importantly, you're joining into the Universal Mastery family. And I would be more than happy to have all of you a part of the family. Okay, so definitely look into that. That's link number 4. The fifth link is my book recommendations for you. So if you're looking for some books to study, to purchase, to read, this is my 4 ebook bundle that I highly recommend that you take advantage of, because this is all the extremely potent and important fundamental occult tools that you can literally have on your tool belt for the rest of your journey within, occultism or spirituality. So it teaches you about the angels, the demons, the different sigils of them, the tree of life, death, the archetypes, all that very fundamental yet valuable information is broken down in a practical way at that 5th link with the 4 ebook bundle that you gain immediate access to when you purchase. So definitely consider that as well if you are looking for something to study. Now below that, I have another course that is called the I've Been Cursed course. This is for anyone that has gone through some form of psychic attack or psychic warfare, and you now feel like you are cursed. You feel like there is negative energy that's been placed on you and you don't know what to do with it. In this course, I made it by popular demand. I am addressing the root cause of how to actually, truly, and authentically liberate yourself from a real psychic attack. As someone who has personal experience with it myself over and over and over again, it is not what you might think. So many people think, I gotta hire someone to protect me. I have to do this certain ritual and spell to protect myself. That is not true whatsoever. There is a much deeper process at play, and it starts with education and understanding of your deep unconscious. And that is exactly what I teach in that course. And then I'll also follow it with a practical practice that helps to support the integration of that negative energy that is sent your way. So with that being said, if this is something that also spikes your interest and it's something that you've been looking for, now you have an opportunity to take advantage of that. With this being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up here. I appreciate all of you very, very, very much. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day or night, wherever you are. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.